started. Pete Dominick is here.
Where's the correlation there?
Yeah. Well, trying to make America great again. And that would include the first guest on Black History Month.
The very first guest of Black History Month.
Being a pink-ish. I look like a baby hamster. So picture that in your mind, listeners. And happy.
And you know what?
Happy Black History Month, Mark.
You know, you really should not say things like that, because I never looked at you as a hamster.
Yeah. Now we can't
unsee
it.
Just said that now you are a hamster.
Yeah, like a baby hamster, like a hairless pink.
What are those freakish animals that like live in the depths of the sea and like they don't have eyes? Naked mole rat. That?
Those are Devin Nunez's. What, anyone? Huh?
You still sitting low. Raise your chair up, something. You
I can't.
Just
This
stand up.
chair.
No,
you're more
stand
concerned
up.
about the height of my chair than this
but
radio
you
program.
I'm having deja vu here with this chair situation.
Stand up for a minute.
I don't. Father, move my chair around. Daddy, adjust my chair for me, please.
There you go.
Do you have a bib I could wear?
Get up there so you can sit up here with me and everybody can see you for Black History Month. There you go. And
everybody can see you for Black History Month.
All right.
That looked real good on stream, by the way. You should check that out later.
Oh, yeah.
It did?
I'm
the
sure.
camera angle, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did it look like?
You'll see. You should look at it later.
You see my butt?
No, but the positioning, you're close. The positioning of Mark's arm and you leaning forward.
Well, someone should screen grab that and share it with Alex Jones, and it'll be a real kickoff for Black History Month.
Wait a minute, did you hear
when he gets his graphics coordinator on that photo?
Wait. Did you hear what he said about the train crash?
Alex Jones?
Yeah.
What did he say? It was Brian Stelter drinking demon blood behind the steering wheel because Alex Jones thinks trains have steering wheels. Listen, this is what I heard. Our sources are telling us.
That's pretty good.
There was a garbage truck parked right there on the railroad tracks, okay? Who do you think was driving that? I'll tell you who's driving that. George Soros. You know who's sitting right next to him? Val Kilmer. Can't explain it. Don't know why. I'll tell you, that's some weird science, isn't it? Speaking of weird science, I've got some additives, some proteins that you need to try. Happy Black History Month. Join me for celebrate this is Richard Spencer.
And then, this is breaking.
Here it is.
Paul Ryan was on board the train carrying lawmakers, a whole bunch of lawmakers, to a high-level GOP retreat. A truck, kamikaze, rammed it. A cement truck.
Kamikaze. It's kamikaze.
A big truck, a dump truck, kamikaze rammed it.
It was a bread truck. It was a truck carrying newspapers. It was a bakery truck. Doesn't matter what kind of truck it was.
No, this is a message. You better believe it. They're going to spin it and try to, it's no big deal. Everything's fine. Vegas isn't Islamic. And of course, it's
we're going to go to the local media who tells us that this has been an issue for years at this railroad crossing. Many accidents have occurred here. It's actually not that surprising. Don't read into it. It was a truck full of trash. And the only thing you need to read into that is a truck full of trash that knocked Republicans off the railroad. Now, that is a hell of a metaphor. I've got additives. I've got proteins. I got demons.
So we were honestly the real reason I brought Pete here. I had 3 bombshells. Brittany only had 2, but you said I had 3. You did have 3, but they were different ones from what I had.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, that's Brittany. That's our producer, folks. Executive producer. She's the very
in this Me Too movement. Mark will not show her on camera.
What I was about to say. She's the very high volume young lady to my right, but she will not come on camera. I always beg, come on, sit back and see you. Me Too.
I'm very comfortable in my seat over here.
Don't end your sentence with Me Too. That. Come over here and let everybody see you. Me Too. Like it's almost like you're using it when you actually harass Brittany. Like you're just letting everybody know.
I thought that's what you were supposed to use it. That's not what it means. Me
Brittany,
Too.
Almost did.
That's not what it means. That's not what you're supposed to say.
No. Time's up. Me Too.
Yeah, exactly. No, every time he does that, you just say it with like Oprah. Mark, your time is up.
We have that too. We had that, don't we? I thought we had that somewhere. Brittany, you're not going to join us?
I'm good over here.
She doesn't like to go on camera.
She didn't like it. Okay, so listen. You said though.
She has hair that can. I don't have to worry about
that. Would look pretty bad. 2 people with long hair next to you. You said you had 15 bombshells overnight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you guys already covered.
So we talked about Nunes changing the memo, changing the wording of the memo, according to Adam Schiff. We talked about Peter Strzok. We talked about Hope Hicks. And actually, there was a 4th one that we talked about that wasn't on my list because it just wasn't as big. But Trump asked Rosenstein for loyalty. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, that's a huge one.
That is huge,
are you on my team?
Are you on my team? Right. That's what he said. Are you on my team?
Are you on my team?
Rod, I need to know one thing.
Team.
Listen, I've got a team. You can either be on it or you can be off it. I'd like you to be on it, Rod.
Team.
Rosenstein, if you know. I know. How's that sound, Rod?
Team. Somebody told a coworker of ours said. Before I do that though, you had so that's 4. You have 11 more. Come on.
No, that might. I mean, I don't really have 11 more. That was a slight exaggeration.
You said 15. That's why I saw you in the kitchen. You said 15. That's why I brought you.
I just thought that would get me on the show.
This is journalism.
Well, I'm not a journalist. You can call.
What are you? What do you call yourself besides a hamster? What are you?
I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm a commentator. I'm a pundit. I'm an ass.
And a
jackass. I'm like a lot of other.
Jones impersonator.
I try to.
Most people impersonate Elvis. He impersonates Alex
I
Jones.
bring smart people on my show as guests, and that's how I get away with being smart. Stand Up with Pete Dominick, 9 to noon, SiriusXM, Channel 121, ladies and gentlemen.
So
we have a panel of young single women joining me today. One of our coworkers, actually, never been on the air here at SiriusXM. Her name is Alex Geekus, and we're going to talk about dating for like 20, 30-year-old single women, what it's like today.
Is that appropriate?
Is it appropriate?
You going to talk to them about dating?
Well, I'm going to ask them what it's like and make jokes about how it wasn't that way when I was coming up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we're doing that. But back to the bombshells.
Yeah.
You want to go back to the bombshells?
Yeah, come on. What you got?
So, did you hear about Ben Carson?
Oh, yeah, that one too. You heard about Ben Carson, Brittany?
No.
Tell us.
Ben Carson,
Uncle Ben.
Washington Post has the scoop. Juliet Alperin and Jack Gillum, they are journalists. Washington Post. Using his position for private gain.
Yeah.
Ben Carson was warned he might run afoul of ethics rules by enlisting his son. He basically helped his family obtain contracts. Yeah. It would seem. Read the piece of the Washington Post. I haven't read it. I just heard about that one. That was one. I think Trump's CDC chief stepping down.
That's right. CDC
is a huge scandal. Huge.
Trading in tobacco
any
stocks.
The CDC is charged with getting people, educating people, using public information, tax dollars, and a public health campaign to stop smoking. That's who's behind the whole Stop Smoking America in terms of the federal government. It's the CDC. There's obviously a lot of nonprofits, et cetera. But this woman bought $15,000 in like a Japanese tobacco company, cigarette company, whatever it was. They call that in old America, we would call that a conflict of interest.
Yeah. So she's stepping down, right?
She's gone. She's out.
Yeah.
What else did I have?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's so much stuff.
There is. Hey, folks, join our conversation, 866-99-SIRIUS. For a few moments, we got Pete Dominick here talking about the bombshells overnight and our first Black History Month guest.
So much stuff. It's so overwhelming. We keep up with it for a living. If you have any other job that requires you to be focused in any way on some task at hand, what do you carve out time? You read the paper. How do you keep up? It's a flood. I'm just taking it in all day and then spouting it back for 3 hours and then go back to taking it in. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think it affects our sanity and our productivity. It's like everything's fine with my wife. Then I hear some crappy, horrible thing happen with Trump. and then I get triggered easier and snap at my wife, and now, like it's just over consuming.
Your wife?
Yes, I'm blaming Trump for my marital issues.
Your wife. She's still with you?
Surprisingly, it's going good actually.
I thought that was okay.
No, it's going very good. Therapy.
Oh my God! Somebody just tweeted a picture of that they say is of you, babe. At who is this? Let me see get this Twitter handle right. It's so small on this phone I can't even see it.
Is it just a picture of a mole rat?
Look at that. Brittany, come see this.
Yeah, that's hurtful. That's hurtful.
Can I share one from Facebook?
Oh, good.
It's the same one.
Oh,
isn't
good.
It? Look,
This should be
the same
nice.
one.
Yeah, it
nice
is.
listeners.
Yeah, someone.
This
someone
is-
said Pinky in the Brain, and I was going to say I don't know who's
Is this
who.
Pinky the Brain? Is that who that is?
That's the Brain. Yeah.
That's Pinky the Brain.
When I
So I guess that
Somebody
makes you
says
Pinky
Pete looks
Mark.
like Pinky the Brain. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I self-deprecate, I don't need your help coming up with images. I get it. I have a mirror. By the way, I'm a strong 6. I mean, I self-deprecate, but I'm in amazing shape. My bone structure is pretty fantastic. My eyebrows
Especially
are
his big
strong.
bone
The symmetry in
right
my
here.
face is fantastic. If you like a meaty mole, I've got one on my nose. If you like that.
Yeah, we'll share.
I got
that.
some fake teeth, but you wouldn't know it from a distance. Or now they're gonna start mocking up images of me with chiclets in my mouth. It's a bunch of Baba Booey hacks reworking old Baba Booey images.
Yeah, that's what we got. That's what
Very mean.
that is.
Yeah, go ahead and share that with your audience.
That is kind of mean, y'all. That's kind of mean. I will.
So there's other. The other bombshell.
So what?
Yesterday,
What's the bombshell?
by the way, yesterday when I left here, when my show, Stand Up with Pete Dominick on SiriusXM Insight 9 to noon, was done at noon. Channel 121 was all I was hearing about. All the cable networks were covering was this train crash. That was a huge story yesterday. Okay.
Well, they made it bigger than what it was. I think it wasn't that big of a story.
The fact that a whole bunch of Republican congressmen are on an Amtrak train with their families and it hits a truck and kills somebody is a big story because that could have been terrorism. It could have been any number of things. It could have been worse than it was. And the irony of, Trump and Republicans cutting the budget for Amtrak. It's just, and then the heroism with a handful of those congressmen running out, and a couple of which were physicians. It's a big story. And it's not a story this morning because of everything we learned in the afternoon and throughout the evening regarding mainly surrounding this memo. But then the loyalty pledge of Rosenstein. And then listening back, by the way, when he was asked if the president asked for his loyalty, what would he say? There's audio of that. We should find that during the Senate hearing. And he kind of ducked it, but I mean, that was a huge story. The Peter Strzok, this FBI agent who was text messaging another FBI agent who they were having sex, and so they called it the idea that they would call somebody a secret society was hilarious because they had their own little secret society, didn't they? It was called an affair. Speaking of affairs, the mayor of Nashville.
Yeah. I grew up in Nashville. My whole family called me. Did you hear about that?
Just admitted to having an affair with the head of her security, who she would travel around the world with alone. So that'll lend itself. And this is the woman, the mayor of Nashville, who lost her son to heroin, last year. So
there's a lot of news yesterday. I was trying to put it up on the screen behind me, but I'll get it. So
and then you got the Super Bowl this weekend.
Yeah, but I've been boycotting the NFL.
Oh,
already,
all right.
So,
All right.
I mean, I'm not even excited.
The
about it.
Patriots and the Eagles are playing.
Hey,
What's to watch?
Hey, sorry for bringing up the NFL here on the first day of Black History Month.
Yeah, way to go, Pete.
Right, yeah, thank you, Pete. That's it. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna cover Black History Month on your show?
How are we going to cover it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are a white program, Mark.
Oh, God.
So we cater to. Now, actually, pride myself on the diversity of our audience, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's patronizing. Sometimes there's some controversy about the month, right? About the whole. You don't think so? You don't think
No,
there's
what's
an argument
controversy
about
about
there being 1 month, and this is the month in which we celebrate African Americans?
Well, I think because the shitty part is that it that it should be more than 1 month. It should be integrated into when we learn in school.
I make a strong effort to have guests, a wide variety of guests, but a lot of, especially women of color, people of color.
That's good.
I also talk about issues regarding race all the time, and I just want to do it as a regular and not as a special.
Well, there you go.
Like, do it every day. You know what my definition of white guilt is, Mark?
What's that?
Well, I get accused often of harboring white guilt, which, I mean, frankly, you know, you were sitting here making fun of my appearance, and for most of your show this morning, you've been mocking up images of me, which is hurtful and demeaning.
No, actually, that came on Twitter. I'm just trying to put one up so we can. So
but most, I don't have guilt about the vessel that I was born in, Andrew, which, like you, white guys, like I don't, and like you, Andrew, I don't feel bad that I am like very good looking.
Y'all can see him. Is he on the screen? We put him on.
I don't feel bad that I am.
Are you watching the stream, Brittany?
That I am a pretty
stream real quick.
Attractive guy who genetically, you know, I inherited a great metabolism, so I have a low body fat. I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel guilty about being who I am in this vessel. I know I'm privileged to be in this vessel. I know that. But I would feel guilty as a white man if I didn't advocate for and try very hard to create and provide opportunities for people of color. So I try every day, every week, it's a part of my life to try to advocate for people of color. And that way I don't have to feel guilty. Otherwise, I'm just riding on the highway of the privilege that I have being born in this vessel. You know, if people on the live stream, as I rant in this passionate force towards a force for equality, look and a lot giving other white guys who get accused of this a definition of what is white guilt. As I'm doing that, you are patronizing me with a graphic that a listener sent of who is that?
That's the brain.
That's the brain. And people are saying I look like that. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here.
We got to go. We'll take a break. We're going to be on Pete for a few more moments. So you all just keep it on the stream. No, we're just going to say goodbye. SiriusXM Progress 127. Okay. So those of you watching on the stream, Pete's show comes on at 9 a.m. On, I don't know what channel you are. Insight.
121.
121. Thank you.
Please boycott bottled water. Please.
Explain why. Explain why, so people can know.
Because there's too much plastic everywhere. And whether you believe the statistics or the images move you or not, forget about it. It is stupid to use plastic. You don't have to. Stop being so lazy. Don't complain about
so where do you get water
being lazy
from?
If you're using single-use plastic. Now, I use it when I get stuck in a jam, of course, but I'm very cognizant of that.
So where do you get that water from?
And I reuse it.
You at home, like you have a filter or something, as opposed to.
No, I'm not worried about the water. And by the way, it's not about drinking out of plastic. People think that it's poisonous to drink out of plastic. It's not.
Where do you drink your water from? Though you use a tap, you got a filter. What do you do?
There's a spring behind my house that I go out and fill up. What do you mean? Same way. What am I, Huckleberry Finn?
You said.
Where do I get my water?
Yeah, if you're not drinking
the goddamn sink.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's called tap. Didn't I say tap?
Where else would you get it?
Well, some people put a filter on the tap. That's what I'm saying. Do you use a filter on the tap, or do you?
It's a different question. I have a filter.
I did. That's what I asked.
I have a filter in the fridge water thing.
Okay.
That's when you know you're rich, by the way. That's how I feel. That's how I measure.
You all mentioned Black History Month. The reason, and we should do it every year, but just real quick, just for you and off-screen Brittany's edification. The reason Black History Month, for your edification, the reason Black History Month is in February. You know why it's in February, right?
It's the coldest.
No.
Shortest.
Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who is the Google Doodle today, the founder of Black History Month. It was originally called Negro History Week that he founded, and it was meant to coincide with Frederick Douglass's birthday. And so that's why it's in the month.
Well, every black comedian has miseducated me. It's the easiest premise. Why do black people get the shortest month? You know that whole.
Well, no, that's how I've been informed. Thank you for having me. I got to go to get. It's an honor to have Pete Dominick, Star Black History Month with us, folks. Join us back live. Wait a minute, hold on before you go. Who's our next guest? We want to tease this out to the social media folk. We got a special guest coming. Paul Ortiz.
Paul Ortiz.
And this is an article. What is he talking about?
He wrote an article for Time titled, "One of history's foremost anti-slavery organizers is often left out of the Black History Month story."
Good. All right.
So we're going to learn about that.
All right, good enough.
I want to learn about that.
Well,
You
tune in.
should stick around.
I have to go work. I have to get ready for.
That's right, because he needs
this
3 or
guest
4 hours
talking
to get
about
ready.
The screen time and parenting.
Thank you, Pete Dominick. Folks, join us live on the air, SiriusXM Progress.